Hello, hello, my wonderful people. Today we talk about one of the most popular holiday season movies, The Holiday. Let me switch to my slides and we begin. First of all, we're not going to be just chit chatting about the movie. We're going to do the full psychological breakdown of the characters. We will try to speculate about their childhood, about their former relationships, typical patterns for people like that. So, if you identify with one of these characters, please stay to the very end. I will be given practical suggestions of what to do, how to break this pattern, what you can implement into your life right now on a daily basis to feel better. So basically, behind this beautiful fairy tale about love and healing, in general, it's the movie about how different people with different backgrounds cope with pain, cope with trauma, and how they deal with problems in life. Just to refresh your memory, two main characters, Iris, Kate Winslet, and Amanda Cameron Diaz, both in their 30s. One is British, crying, sensitive, suffering in her lowest point, and super successful, independent, strong, blah blah blah, Amanda from LA. Seemingly, they are the opposite. Seemingly, they are so crazy different. However, by the end of this breakdown, you will see how similar and how close they actually are. So do not believe this surface picture. It's going to be a two-part breakdown, and today we talk specifically about Iris. We will talk about what kind of person she is, what led to this point of life, and we will talk about how she feels herself in a relationship, how she acts, what she expects. I will talk about why this idea of I just need a different man, or if only my man treated me better, why it never works. And we will talk specifically about what breaks this vicious cycle of being trapped with men who are bad for you. And I will give you some small daily recommendations for people like Iris. So if you feel close to her, if you feel like you are a person like this, stay here. This is going to be very useful for you. So who is Iris? Who is Iris? She is the first character we meet in the film. And what do we know about her? Instantly, we understand that she is a very soft, very tender, very caring person, because we literally see her preparing the Christmas gift for someone, and she gives this big speech about love, and we obviously gonna come back to that because this is super important. The way she speaks about love, the way she feels about love. So get yourself some coffee or tea. There's a lot to cover about Iris. In general, people like Iris, they are the most wonderful people to have around. And unfortunately, a lot of people are using this because they see them and they just drain all the energy, all the warmth, all the stuff they can from them. I am not a person like Iris, so I can only admire these people. And mostly it is women like that, but there is a certain percentage of men who are like Iris too. And specifically Jack Black's character, we're going to talk about him because they are like two little twins. So I call these people walking suns, walking sunshines, because these people are just warm. They are so warm and you feel so comfortable with them. It would be not even some close person to you. It might be your co-worker, but they will be the one who notice that you feel a little down today. They will come and ask you, like, maybe you need something, maybe I can help. And it's not performative for them. For them, it is genuine care. They read other people's emotions and feelings like nobody else. For them, the human connection is the most important thing. For some people, it's professional, like success. For some people, it's money. For some people, it's having power. For some people, it's being skillful at something, completing projects. For these people, like Iris, it is specifically building human connections, deep, warm connection with other people. The most important thing for them is being accepted by other people, being loved unconditionally, just being appreciated. And I guess you already feel the conflict here, the problem, that they naturally attract people who will use them, people who will not appreciate them, people who will take them for granted. This is the biggest tragedy of these wonderful, warm, loving, caring, sensitive people. They do attract those vampires who will take everything from them and leave them with nothing and never appreciate them. Unfortunately, very common pattern. Today we will talk how Iris, kind of too ideally, like in 2 weeks, breaks this cycle, but it's a fairy tale. But there's a lot of truth to it, so you can absolutely break this cycle. Maybe it will take a little longer than 2 weeks, and we will talk how to do it. So these are the people who instantly read other people's emotions. Imagine you get into the room full of people you don't know, and some people will pay attention what the room looks like, or they will scan the people and instantly decide like, I need to make contact with this person and maybe have some future kind of useful interaction with them for business, blah blah blah. Somebody will scan people and just use facts. There are like 15 people in the room, they are dressed this way, the room temperature is this, how soon can I go home, that stuff. Not people like Iris. People like Iris get into the room and they operate in emotions, in feelings. They instantly read the room's atmosphere. And usually around people like that, all the conflicts, if there was some argument in the room, it will naturally just quiet down. People, it's kind of almost uncomfortable to argue in the presence of these people because they are just so warm, so naturally kind and sensitive, that it's almost ridiculous to have an argument with someone in the presence of these people, because they value harmony, they bring harmony, they are harmonizers of the space. And let's see in the movie how it plays. Remember how she prepares the gift. She has work to do. She works in a local London newspaper, and it's a Christmas party. She is in love with this man, Jasper, and unfortunately he cheats on her and basically dumps her and is about to marry another woman and announce his engagement in like 5 minutes after this interaction between them. But let's leave him out of it for now. What about her? Remember the gift she gives him. The gift is not just some pair of socks and pack of t-shirts and shaving foam. No, it is a very thoughtful, specific, special gift for him. So she didn't buy anything random. She thinks of what he wants, of what he needs, of how he will feel about it. She finds a very specific, unique book. Maybe he dropped some phrase, like he likes a certain writer. By the way, if you ever asked yourself what book it is, the director of the movie, Nancy Meyers, she posted, so she gave him this book by Somerset Maugham, British writer. So that's the book Iris hands to Jasper, and he's super excited. And everything about us shows how just caring she is, So when he asks, where did you get it? Like, how did you even remember? And she says, in that one book place, like little corner shop we once went to, like together. And I bet you he has no idea what she even talks about. He probably forgot the moment he stepped out of that book corner. But she remembers. And people like Iris, they do remember those little small things. The main tragedy is they expect other people to act the same way. And unfortunately, the problem is most people are not like that. Most people genuinely can't be this empathetic. They can't feel the same level like you do. So unfortunately, it's just automatic assumption. Like, if I feel this, it's obvious. Isn't it obvious? Like, what is wrong with these people? Why are they talking about this nonsense? Feelings is what matters. Like, what is wrong with the world? Like, how is the world so cruel? But unfortunately, these people are not the majority. The world operates in the logical people's rules. So unfortunately, yeah, no matter how sensitive you are, people will usually not be able physically, brain doesn't work like that, feel like the same way people like Iris do. Another thing, remember, first of all, not every person will stop and try to help an older man. She stops, she feels, she feels that something is off. So a lot of people will just let it pass. Like, they drive by, they spend a couple minutes, maybe not even minutes, couple seconds, like, poor old guy, and they drive by back to their day. Iris can't. She first notices him, then she remembers, and then she sees him and stops. And again, remember, she gets into the house. She does see all the achievements. She understands that it's not just a simple person. Not just a regular old man. It's some achieved, amazing, successful Hollywood something. She doesn't know he's a screenwriter yet. So, but what she notices, scanning this room by some small details like this chair, and she understands he's alone, she sees the medication, so she reads his emotional state. Yeah, she doesn't start talking about those Oscar things, about all the awards she saw. Some people who are whose main value in life is achievement, success, that's what they will start talking about. Like, oh my goodness, you have Oscar. But not people like Iris, even though she does notice, and she says, like, wow, when she sees the Oscar. But she doesn't bring it up. She says, she notices that he's lonely. He's there by himself. So she understands that she needs to take him out. She wants to be with him as a friend, So she asks him for dinner, again, just because she feels, how lonely he is. What else? A very small episode, very small scene when... like 5 days being in LA, she goes out of the house, and she already knows the names of every single worker who works there. Remember the gardener guy? I bet you like $100 that even Amanda, the owner, Cameron Diaz's character, the owner, she probably has no idea what their names are, what their families are doing. And I guarantee Iris will remember all the names of all the grandmas, children, everybody. And when his kids will have birthdays, she will prepare some small gifts for them. So it's people like that. They naturally want to be around people. They just naturally care. And it's not being polite. It's not just out of like, I should be polite because these people are working for me. No, she genuinely cares. She will stop and talk to them, and it makes her happy. Another episode, couple scenes with Miles, Jack Black. Again, it's so subtle. If you don't pay attention, you wouldn't even notice that. But again, they finish this little Hanukkah dinner with the older guys. And look at her. She's already quietly packing the leftovers for him. She's in a super rich house. She could have there are like literally people working there. There is some kitchen lady in the back helping. She has no business to pack any leftovers for anyone. Things will be taken care of. But no, she keeps it in her mind. It's part of her life. It's part of her being, part of her character. And it's so realistic. I have a friend like that. It's just incredible. So they just naturally notice stuff that other people wouldn't even think about. So she thinks, like this Miles spent the evening with us, so probably he like didn't think about his dinner, so it would be nice for him to have something later. So she packs carefully the leftovers for him, and here in the next scene he's already carrying around this carefully packed tinfoil leftover thing. It's so wonderful. I absolutely love it. And these people, they're never again performative. I guarantee she will like kindly, slowly, gently infiltrate in his house, and in the most undisturbing way, she will clean everything, wipe the dust quietly. He wouldn't even notice. But he will be like, oh my goodness, it's so fresh here, it's so nice, and he wouldn't even understand what happened. I have a friend like that, I already told you. When I was on a maternity leave, and I was just like basically just without sleep and terrible. I was so tired. And she comes to visit. She wanted to go around town to see the like Moscow, Russia, Moscow sightseeing and all. But no, she noticed how tired I am, so she's like, go, take a nap with your kid real quick. And just even without saying anything, she cleaned the entire kitchen, and not in the way like, oh, you could have taken more care of your space. No, it was done just so like the person cares about you. I don't know how to describe it. Another person, not the type of Iris type people, they would wait for me to put the kid to sleep, and they could have just sitting there in their phone, scrolling, watching TikToks, waiting for me to come back. So I bring them food and we drink tea, But these people like Iris, they instantly read the emotional state of another person, and they understand that they want to help. Again, not because they have to, they just feel like they want to help. There is a little bit more to that when we talk about the childhood situation, but for them it feels natural, and it actually like helps them feel better about themselves. Or here, remember, he is playing some music, making music for this Arthur, and again, she comes in with 2 cups of tea. It's so subtle, but I guarantee he didn't even mention that he wants tea, so she just thinks about it naturally. She goes and she brings 2 mugs. Some people would just go and make tea for themselves, I swear, and it feels completely normal to them, and they will be genuinely surprised, like, well, you didn't ask for tea. Kind of, I didn't think you might. Why didn't you tell me to bring some? Of course I can bring some for you. But you see, they don't even need to be asked. They just think ahead, taking care of another person. They feel incredibly deeply, and they are just so empathetic towards other people's feelings. And it's not just sadness, it's also happiness. Those are the people that when somebody is happy, they are happy. They're happy for them. They don't envy. Of course they do, but they kind of just, they can be happy for you at the same time. So here, remember the scene where she and Miles, Jack Black's character, in the DVD shop, I forgot, Blockbuster. So he notices that his girlfriend cheated on him and she's with another man there, and she literally physically feels this pain. You see, she's like, as if her heart just shrinks and aches because she feels it so deeply, because she was there, she knows this. And also, look how touchy she is. Like, she is already, they know each other for like 5 days, and she already is all like physically into this feeling of his. So she's comforting him, and there is nothing like sexual behind it, like nothing. So because she feels it, For me, it's I am not like that at all, but I know that a lot of wonderful women out there are like this, and I am almost jealous. I wish I had this quality, but my brain doesn't work like that. I don't feel that much for other people, and usually it takes a little effort from me to like that level of feeling. So what is important? Remember, if you played the Sims game, or just even if you didn't, doesn't matter. So it's just a nice metaphor to understand. All of us have this daily battery, kind of internal battery. It is, I call it, like little accumulator. And in Sims games, it happened to be green when the person is fulfilled, when they are they have taken care of all their like physical needs, psychological needs. There is like friendships, romantic relationships, and daily stuff like going to bathroom, having a comfortable bed. So if you buy a bed there in the Sims game, it will show like it will bring you comfort +2. If it's more expensive, fancy bed with good mattress, it will bring comfort +10. So it's actually so crazy realistic. So I will show you using the example of Iris, how it works. So for different people, different stuff charges our battery. For example, if the person is logic based, logically oriented person, measures things in the matter of like facts, information, and for them professional fulfillment is important. So for them, not talking to friends for months wouldn't matter that much. It wouldn't drain their battery to the bottom. To them, it's important to, like, for example, my husband is like that. What he's doing to me is not fulfilling at all. So he wants to like start the project around the house. And for him completing this project, like he set some plan and he does it, and it lifts his battery to the top. For me, I don't care. I can drag the same project for 30 days, for 3 months. It doesn't drain my battery down because I just don't care about it. For him, if he didn't complete the project by the end of the day, it feels like he failed, like the day was not amazing because of that. For people like Iris, it's relations, it's communication. So I will show you more example later. So again, later we'll talk about Amanda and how to recharge your battery. Today we talk about people like Iris. For them, connection with people charges this battery like crazy. This is why, let's get back in the slides real quick. This is why she's doing this, not even because he needed it. He would have absolutely same reaction. But for her to go there, find this book, she feels wonderful. Our brain doesn't care about the outcome. Yeah, it gets the same emotions. It's same emotions if we lived through something in our fantasies or it actually happened. So for her, it's like constant fantasy. She does it, this wrapping, like look at her. She loves it. She loves it. She could have just given a book, but no, she wants it perfect because she loves it. This just brings her battery up to the top. She doesn't do it out of necessity. She doesn't do it as an obligation. For her, it's a must. For her, I heard a lot of angry people online complaining about her, like, oh, of course, she's such a victim. Instead of going to LA and chilling at the pool, going to the ocean, sipping some cocktails, like live for yourself. She is living for herself. That's the whole point. For people of different types of personality, that would be a great advice. Go to the beach, just live for yourself, just listen to music, be on your own. For her, being on her own is the worst possible advice ever. These people can't be on their own, and we will see soon. This charges her battery. You see how happy she is. You see how happy she is talking to these people. She smiles, she's active, she's out of her loneliness like she was experiencing back home. She is finally happy. This charges. So did you see her in that scene when she's laughing like with those older gentlemen from Hollywood? She is happy around people. And back in Great Britain, you notice, I will switch slides now, we get her like at her lowest there. So number one, be around people, but very specific type of people. If you look at point 2, feeling emotionally safe, warmly included, genuinely appreciated. And if you now reflect upon her relationships with Jasper, with her brother, we will talk about him, she is not appreciated. Everybody's taken her for granted. This is why this relationship here, we will talk about it later again, this is what charges her. Yeah, finally somebody appreciates her, not for her actions, nothing, but for who she is, for this wonderful sunshine, warmth type of a person she is. And that's why she flourishes there. She blossoms. You can see she has a completely different face from what she had back home. So for her, the quality time with people, with friends, or with just people who are accepting you, who are not demanding something from you. So for these people, if you recognize somebody of your relatives are like that, maybe your wife is like that, or your sister is like that, for these people, number 3, micro moments of warmth. What does it mean? You must check on them regularly. You must find 5 minutes of your day, even if you saw them first thing in the morning. Text them, ask them how they are, or take a beautiful picture of oh, look at this bird, I saw it and I thought of you. So remember how these people keep in mind small things you say. Like he mentioned this book probably once in his life and already forgot about it himself. And she remembers, and they expect the same stuff from you. Maybe you drive by some little cafe where you spent some beautiful brunch together. Text it, say it. It's so important for this kind of people. For a lot of people, it doesn't matter at all. But for people like Iris, these little check-ins, like, how are you? I'm thinking of you. Just something, some little interaction. It takes 1 minute, but for people like that, it means that the earth. So it takes no effort from you, but it means the world for them. Quality time, predictable, calm routines. This is important for them, especially something cozy. These people are very sensual and they really need, I forgot the English word. Damn, the downsides of having English not as your original language. Well, the sensory things, like taking warm baths and bubbles, going to massages. Stress is the number 1 battery killer for these people. They must take care of themselves. They must enjoy food. So for these people, very damaging to be watching something and eating at the same time, or eating, like running around. No, food for them is one of the battery charges. It should be appreciated, just felt, sensed. So these are people of like body sensitivity. So they just crave those massages, relaxation, and unfortunately, because they always think about somebody else above themselves, they neglect this, and the battery goes lower, 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 lower. They will give away, like the husband gives them the spa certificate, and then they can't find time to go, and at the end of the day they will give it back to him, like, oh, you've been working so much, your shoulders are all sore, maybe you go use this certificate. I'm good, I'm okay, you need it more. So they always put somebody before themselves. So what about Iris? We see her at her, again, lowest point in life, and she even says it, like, low point. So what do we know about her? She is in the bottom of her battery, obviously. She works. Look at where she works. She works again in this newspaper, and supposedly it should be charging her, but at the end of the day, look at her. She surrounded herself. She writes about weddings, she writes about engagements, and look, she constantly sits there. If you look at the pictures, she constantly is surrounded with couples, but she is lonely. And for people like that, again, remember, loneliness and not feeling appreciated is the worst worst thing ever. It drains their battery down to zero. So not only she constantly puts herself into this contrasting situations, she looks at these happy couples, but in her real life, she's constantly in the state of misery. And here again, you see everybody around is happy, and she just doesn't belong, because these people, they are not close to her. And we will talk specifically later about her friend woman who confronts her, kind of, why are you still talking to him, and all that. So this is what we know about her low point. Her ex-boyfriend cheated on her, but she is stuck in that terrible relationship and just basically circulating in her own misery, writing about other people's happiness every single day. More importantly, first, it might seem as romantic, as kind of beautiful, cozy, but no, if you think about it, look where she is walking. She is walking by the Big Ben, and again, kind of can be considered like she is charging her battery, looking at beautiful things, but no. Now she's already at her lowest, so stuff like that stops working. She is alone. Remember in the ad for her house, when she suggests exchanging homes, it says just 40 minutes from London. And usually when people put stuff like that, they usually embellish it a little bit. So it's probably an hour away from London, at least. So it means that, and she doesn't have a car. It's not like she's listening to her favorite music in her car, some cozy scents of orange, I don't know, yeah, those aromatherapy stuff. She's feeling good. No. For an hour in the morning, yeah, in the rush hour probably. Now at least it's late at night because of the party, but she's probably not sitting there comfortably. She's probably standing there like that with strangers. An hour there and an hour back, and probably in the rush hour there is more time. So she spends time alone. And for people like that, again, it's people's people. Being alone for so long for them is very damaging. It's very depressing. So not only she goes by public transport for 2 hours a day, then she walks. And again, in first glance, it's a cozy Christmassy lights. Not really. It's probably constant stress in this darkness, quiet. It's only good for a couple of weeks for Christmas holiday, but living like that, when you go home late at night, you are a young woman, you are all by yourself in the middle of nowhere, and then she keeps walking. Remember, even the taxi driver, when Amanda, the Cameron Diaz character, arrives, he stops at some cemetery, some abandoned 19th century cemetery, and he's like, whoa, I'm not going any further. So it means she walks but by that lonely cemetery at night, and literally in the middle of nowhere. Yes, it is the cozy fireplace thing, but again, only for 2-week holiday. Living like that is extremely draining, extremely dangerous for a young woman. And again, that's why she is in her like zero battery, because this is how she lives. All day, every single day, she lives like that. And again, when you come on a holiday and you're excited, it's wonderful. What do you mean 19th century cemetery? It is so romantic. It's so, oh my goodness, so full of history. Look how cozy this house is. It is not when you live like this, I'm telling you. I am not from the United States, so I know what it is to live in places like that on a daily basis, and especially when there is no sun. It's not like a sunny LA. No. When the sun comes 70 days out of the entire year, you will start feeling like that. And add on top of that the cheating boyfriend and no friends and blah, 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 blah. And here you go at the lowest point of your life. But what I love about this little episode, that she's like, she's crying, but at the same time, she keeps in her mind that I need to feed the dog, and she probably took the dog out. So again, people like Iris, people like somebody else, they would just fall down on bed and forget about the dog because they care about themselves. People like Iris, again, she cares about others, even if it's her dog. What else do we know about her home? First of all, that again, it's only cozy and comfortable in the pictures. Remember when Amanda Cameron Diaz comes to her house, she constantly bumps her head on stuff, or she tries to take a bath, and I wish I put the picture here, but I forgot. And she's like, she can't even put her feet into the tub because it's this short old tub, so she's like that inside the tub. It looks extremely uncomfortable, extremely not cozy, and the house is very cold. You had to constantly put the logs into the fire to literally warm your house with fire. And now imagine the cold house, because the fire is probably expensive. She doesn't look like a very rich person. So getting out of that bath, it's probably so cold, so uncomfortable. Yes, you get used to this, and it's super cozy and kind of cute and sweet. I saw all kinds of breakdowns of the interiors. Oh, look at this, super comfortable, cozy. It is not when you live like that, especially for people like Iris, who need the sensory stuff, who need those relaxing baths. She can't even take a bath in that house. Yeah, she has to buckle, kind of snuggle to the just to be warm in that house, because it's so cold, it's so isolated, it's so dark, it's so cluttered. And look at the amount of books. Again, it's wonderful that she's reading, but it's probably dusty. It's probably, she does say she's the clean freak and everything, but still, it's just clutter everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. What else do we understand when Amanda comes there, sees all these books? We understand that, again, Iris is romantic person, the person who lives in fantasies. She probably had some masters in literature, and she reads all those books like Madame Bovary, Flaubert, or I don't know, Maupassant, or Anna Karenina, or Pride and Prejudice. Oh my goodness, she reads Pride and Prejudice, she reads Little Women. She wants that kind of romance in her life, and she's waiting, just wait for Mr. Darcy to show up in your life, and then you're good. Yeah, then you're gonna be happy. But unfortunately, it's all feeding the illusion. It's all feeding the illusion. And just like how she surrounds herself with these happy couple pictures, reading all the books about happy couples, watching the movies about romance and everything, adds to your misery and drains your battery at the end of the day. Now, let's talk a bit about her boundaries. God, my throat is so dry. Oh, what is this white line? Sorry about it. So-called friend. What do we understand from this little interaction? We understand she doesn't even share stuff with other people, probably because when you are in her low point, you become literally insufferable. You become very difficult for other people of other types of personalities. Very hard to endure, just the level of pain, the level of drama. Most people can't handle it physically. It's not because they're bad people, it's not because they're cruel, not kind. They physically can't. It's just, it's as if it's like a little hedgehog. It's crying, and the amount of pain is so strong, it's so severe that you can't. They want to be like hugged and caressed, but you can't even hug them because you can't, as if you can't even get there. The level of pain is so severe. So usually at the lowest point, people like Iris become like that. Just the level of suffering is so much, that so high, that all their friends, if they are not of the same type, they would naturally kind of draw back, and they will start avoiding contact or start to switch topic, because there is a limit. There is a limit for other people of how much of your pain they can handle. So unfortunately, looks like Iris is all alone in her suffering, because probably without kind of any intent, but through constant crying, through constant complaining, talking about the same thing again, and again, which should be happening. She should be talking. But looks like she's carried away all her friends and her co-workers. She doesn't discuss it with them, because this woman, and it's not like she's supporting, she comes to her. To me, it looks like she wants some drama. She wants more gossip. She wants to like, so what is it with you two? Like, tell me exactly what happened, as if it's some movie for her, some kind of entertainment. And also, this woman probably feels much better about herself. Like, oh, look at this miserable one. I would never. She instantly starts giving advice to her, like, you look what you should be doing. Like, this is what normal people do, you know. And unfortunately, this is like the worst type of people to have around you. When people like Iris need empathy, need sympathy, they want to just be heard, they want to just be acknowledged for what is happening to them. But unfortunately, most people are like this woman. They think that Iris type of people need the solution. They think the empathy is given a piece of advice, like how to solve this situation, but that's not what they need. So again, it's all a vicious cycle. But all we need to know about this scene, Iris has zero boundaries. This woman just blatantly comes and just starts digging into her stuff. They're obviously not friends, because if they were friends, she would have already known what happened between her and Jasper. But looks like she's like, oh yeah, something, you were what, shagging? Who uses the word shagging? That was it's so funny to me. Anyway, so she doesn't know anything, and she's just kind of, but she feels the audacity to just kind of go and tell her what to do and how she did wrong. You're not even her friend, you're a coworker. And Iris is like, yes, I'm so miserable, look at me. Unfortunately, people like Iris always blame themselves for whatever is happening. They always blame themselves and they criticize themselves and all that stuff. So zero boundaries. Anyone can come to her, say whatever they think, and without any request. She never asked for her advice. Or her wonderful, handsome Jude Law older brother. What is that? It is a cute meeting with Cameron Diaz, but it is absolutely horrifying what he is saying. So he is like, what? If she is in her early 30s, he's probably in the mid 30s, closer to 40s. What do you mean? What do you mean you get drunk and you come to your sister and you sleep there? And it's not just like, is it okay if I come pre-texting? No, if you rewatch the movies, open it! Banging on the door in the middle of the night. What if Iris is with a man? She is a young woman. She's building her like personal life. What if she's not alone there? What if she has some important stuff first thing in the morning and she needs to sleep properly? What if she's naked in the middle of the room, like walking from place, like anything? What do you mean you just come in the middle of the night and bang on the door like that? Remember how scared Cameron Diaz was? She like, so zero boundaries. Nobody even thinks about what Iris might be doing. And probably she was the, I think he even mentions it, like she suggested maybe I sleep in her place, like, and by the level of how comfortable Jude Law is in her apartment, he knows exactly where everything is, even including some small things like some mug there, here. It means he's been doing it for at least a year. He's like constantly there in her space. And again, she's a young woman who needs her own family, but no boundaries. Brother comes in, does whatever he wants. Same with the Jasper situation. Kinda cool. I flew through the other side, to a different continent. Look how much I love you. But again, zero boundaries. What kind of surprise is that? She is doing her own stuff, but they don't even think about her, like what she might feel, what she is doing right now. Maybe she has some other stuff to do. Nobody even double checks anything, because they just assume that she is there to basically serve them, because that's what she's been doing. So he thinks it's completely fine to just randomly show up and almost ruining her evening because she has this event with Arthur, the older man. Nobody cares. So that's all you need. What you need to do to know about the level of boundaries of Iris, because she is at the lowest point of her battery. Yeah, remember. So let's speculate a little bit of how people like that form in their childhood. Usually, check out the picture, by the way. I dropped a couple screenshots from the movie of Iris and asked ChatGPT to generate how this woman could look in her childhood. So on the next slide, I will show you the real pictures of Kate Winslet. You will check how different it actually is. So what is likely a family background? Usually, these children come from the families of unpredictable parents. Parents who would do something unstable. Maybe the father was drinking. I don't know, or I don't remember if anything is mentioned about the father. I remember Jude Law mentions the mom, who is again in some literature business, book publishing business, pretty successful woman. And these successful women usually attract mentally weaker men. So let's speculate a bit that the father was this creative man and she is the successful, controlling, maybe she was editing all her stuff. And naturally, he was kind of just feeling lower, started drinking. So some unhealthy dynamic there. And usually the savior role falls on girls specifically. That's why the brother, the Jude Law character, he doesn't mention any of that. He just says, oh, we have a nice family, because probably nothing like that was ever mentioned to him because he's a guy. And daughters very frequently in such families become the savior, the rescuer, the supporter. And unfortunately, from the older generations, people did not understand that they were harming children. Let's say parents would be arguing, having some loud arguments, yelling even maybe. And they don't even consider if children are in the room or if they're hearing stuff. And even worse than that, instead of saying, mom would go to a daughter and say, oh, I'm sorry, honey, you probably heard us arguing. How are you feeling about it? What do you think? And kind of articulating that actually they love her very much. They're fine. The worst thing that parents can do, and unfortunately a lot of people were doing it, after the argument, they go to the child and they will say, oh, that terrible, your dad did this and this and that, it was such a terrible guy, what have I done? And the daughter naturally thinks that she should be supporting, she should be saving mom. And very slowly, through hundreds of these little interactions, this pattern builds that my mom comes to me with her hard feelings. And since it's the mom, the person who loves you and who you love unconditionally, it forms this very unhealthy association that this is love, that the person comes for you and they need you in their bad moment. They need you, because if the parent comes to you for support, it means they need you and they love you and you love them. So this feeling of need, this is why unfortunately these girls grow up feeling that they're only loved when they do something for people. This is why Iris just naturally does stuff for people, because she thinks this is what love is and she expects it from other people. But for them, it's not. For them, love is not like that because they grew up in a completely different environment. So this is one of the scenarios. Another possible scenario, I don't know, after divorce, let's say dad has to go to mom kept the house and maybe she remarried successfully, but dad went downhill. So he had a small, dirty apartment and he's struggling with money because he's paying alimony, I don't know what. He starts drinking, and the daughter for a weekend comes to see him. And she feels sorry for him. She feels terrible. She feels that she should be saving him. So basically the role reverses and she feels like a parent and he becomes somebody who she should be kind of taking care of. And unfortunately, a lot of people even start secretly saving money. Like grandma would give them $50 for birthday, but they will keep it, save it for the dad, kind of to help the dad. The dad never asked about it. He has no idea it's even happening, but that's what the little girl thinks. So very common scenario. unfortunately. So saving one of the parents, kind of gaining love through being this supporter, this helper, and for them it feels normal, it feels natural. So look at these pictures. That's the real pictures of little Kate Winslet. So what? Yeah. So what's going on? The last point about the childhood, what's formed, what quality comes. Nobody ever cared about your emotions. Nobody was asking, oh, little one, how are you? What are your feelings about it? Usually those parents did not ask that. It was the opposite. I feel this and that. I feel this way because of him. He's a bad person. Look what he did to me. Look how I am unhappy now because of him. So since nobody cared about this girl, not Kate Winslet, obviously, but Iris, again, I'm just speculating, suggesting, she doesn't even know what it is to care about herself. That is why she always cares about someone else. That is why when something bad happens, remember when this Jasper comes to visit her, she says, like, somehow for 3 years you made kind of feel me as if I am a bad person. Not that he is a jerk, not that he is a cheater, player, whatever, but as if she is a bad person, she is not good enough, that's why he cheated. So these people always blame stuff on themselves, even in the smallest things, like TV breaks, and they would think like, oh, it's because I haven't checked in right time, I let it happen, or like whatever, completely random stuff. They blame themselves, unfortunately. So what happens when these women grow up? Advice like that woman was given, like, you don't do that, you throw stuff at him and you forget him, you never talk to him again. Stuff like that doesn't work in real life, because we all know that we need to find a better person for us. We need a good man who will take care of us. We need somebody on the same page. We need somebody with the same values. We all know that, just like we know that we all need to eat healthy. We need to move more. We need to blah, blah, blah. We know exactly what to do. The problem is that our brain chooses what is comfortable. Yeah, this is what comfort zone is. It's not because it's comfortable and wonderful. It is because we are used to it. That is our comfort zone, because this is the only thing we know. So people like that who grew up, again, we speculated about the childhood. People who grew up like that, the stable partner, the caring partner, for them is like a red flag. It might be some completely normal man who would love her, but for her, she would think that something is off, something is weird. He doesn't love me. Yeah, he doesn't appreciate my help enough, kind of. He's not, in a twisted way. They think that that person is not right, because they want to repeat the same cycle and feel this familiar sense, being insecure, being little, constantly serving. This is what they need, unfortunately. So the only way usually is to go to therapy and to break the pattern and to learn the normal, healthy closeness, close relationships. Because in the healthy situation, when somebody breaks your boundaries like that, you say it. Not to the end, like when you're already suffering, but before. You can say like, whoa, you actually can't do that to me. Or if you see that somebody cheats on you and somebody is like breaking your heart, in the healthy situation, when you are mentally healthy entirely and you healed your traumas, you will lose interest to this person. They are not attractive to you anymore. Because what do you mean he's hurting me? I don't like it. Why would I like a person who hurts me? But it only works when you heal all that, like all those years and years of unhealthy patterns. So that's why it doesn't help usually when some kind of Jack Black shows up. I will show you, however, how it helps exactly. First of all, let's talk a little bit about Iris and Jasper, kind of relationship-wise, what is happening. Unfortunately, there is no relationship. There is no relationship. And probably if you asked the Jasper guy, he would even say, like, what do you mean? I'm not even in relationships with her. Or he would say, like, who's Iris? Oh, this is my colleague. And for him, probably there are like 5 irises like that in different places, yeah, on top of his fiance. But the entire relationship is in her head. In her head. Remember this gift situation. In her head, they went to some place, and as if he remembers, and as if for him it is equally special, he probably forgot. And again, the problem with our brain is that for our brain, there is no difference if we live through the fantasy or we actually implement it in real life. The effect is the same. Kind of like, for anxious people with super anxiety, it doesn't work to say, like, just don't worry. Just don't think about it. It doesn't work like that, because they are so anxious that even in their body, yeah, you might start shaking, the heart is pounding, and you're just thinking about stuff. But the reaction in your body and in your mind is the same as if you lived through this experience. So same here, the very same way it works like that. So she thinks that she is in this relationship, all in her head. So she's this hopelessly in love with this unattainable man. Occasionally, of course, she's super comfortable. Remember, everybody wants to have people like this around them. So occasionally, like a bone to a dog, he would throw her, like, oh, you look so good today, or I bring something hot. Or remember that phone conversation when she's in LA and he's calling, like, are you wearing that red bikini? So he basically turns the conversation into a phone sex. And for her, she's like, oh, you remember that bikini? So she thinks it's special because he remembers it. It's so tragic. It's so tragic. So, and unfortunately, she's carried away, all her friends probably, because they got tired of listening about the same stuff. So she is alone. Unfortunately, she's one-on-one with her pain. So this Jasper, again, occasionally just shows up, uses her help, and he doesn't even have to do anything. He only needs to say something. Remember again the scene with present. He mentions, look, I bought your present, but it's not here. I must have forgotten it. Another woman, not like Iris, would say, well, okay, if it's in the car, I'll wait. Go pick it. What is it? I can't wait to see. But again, these people care about other people's feelings. So she doesn't want to hurt his feelings. She knows there is no present. You can tell it by her face. He knows there is no present. She knows there is no present. But she doesn't want to embarrass him. Yeah, she doesn't want to embarrass him. And in her mind, she thinks probably, yeah, he probably was so busy, but of course he'll buy a present. And she says, yeah, last time we exchanged presents in March. So it's not the first time. He genuinely doesn't care. But she doesn't want to expose him like that. She pretends and plays it off as if it's fine. And then he drops one phrase and like phone call. Then she mentions they have occasional lunch together. For her, it's all proof of love. And in her mind, she thinks for him. He probably is so confused. I can't imagine how bad he feels, this running around. He's so confused. He's trapped. He's trapped in this situation. So, and he is not trapped at all. He knows exactly what he's doing. He is extremely comfortable. He loves this position of several women basically serving him, making his life amazing. Because she will wake up at 4 a.m. and run to him if he needs some help. So, of course, he wants, as a narcissist, he wants to have a person like that being available to serve him any time of the day. And unfortunately, she ignores and ignores and ignores all the evidence of his indifference. On top of that, even her body is screaming to her that it's not a good man for you. Remember, she mentions that just the sight of him, heart pounding, throat thickening, can't swallow, all the usual symptoms. And it's not in a good way. It's not a good way to react. She's not even describing it as like butterflies or something. No, it's literally her body is telling her that's not the right person. So remember the scene. Oh God, we've been talking for an hour. Um, remember the scene where she's feeling like a little girl again, free from her misery. She's like playing the invisible guitar on the bed, and then he calls and she literally she jumps on her bed and like that, as if she's like defending herself with her arms, like what he just hearing his voice, he found her there, and he instantly puts an end to her happiness. And then she puts the blinds down, kind of back into her darkness. And 2 times in the movie it happens, when she takes this book and it just covers the blinds, putting herself in the darkness. So again, even her body is reacting like that. And she gets so low that she comes home after he announces the engagement, and she wants to basically end her life. She's breathing in the gas. It's insane. So to her, she is at such a low point. Her battery is not even at zero. It's like below zero, that she thinks that without this man, she is not even worth living. So this is how low she is in life. Unfortunately, look at this quote. I specifically put this gigantic quote, and to make it even more effective, if you pause the video and if you read the full text out loud with emotions. Unfortunately, these people love drama. They love the idea of love. And despite how much I love Iris and people like her, but sometimes it's very difficult to even feel sorry for them when they are in this situation, because they are feeding on this drama. They absolutely adore this drama. As soon as you hear a person who is like unhappy in love using words like Shakespeare said this and that, just can you imagine of the level of them romanticizing the situation? And think of who Shakespeare is. If you read Shakespeare, you understand this is the king of drama. Romeo and Juliet want to be together, but the families are against it. They're fighting, struggling, end up dying. Hamlet and Ophelia. So it's a constant drama. So Shakespeare, for her, is the voice of love. That already is a little bit of a red flag. Then she admits, I think about love more than anyone really should. So she's obsessed with the idea of love. It's not even that Jasper, replace Jasper with Johnny, Tommy, Eddie, I don't care. It's the same. They want the idea of suffering in love, of this drama. Or another kind of love, the cruelest kind. It almost kills its victims. Do you feel the level of drama? Kills its victims. We are, the cursed of the loved ones. We're the walking wounded. When you hear a woman speaking like that, what else? Like miserable, cursed by being in love. She's like in the book. Remember those books on the shelf? She's living in that mentality. So she loves it. She loves being in this state. Unfortunately, again, no matter how much I love Iris, but she needs this. She loves being in the drama. And before she heals and understands that none of this is actual love, it's very hard to break this cycle. And later, remember when she talks to Jack Black, she again uses words like your soul shatters, breaks in thousands of pieces, and then they fade away. And Jack Black is like, whoa, you need this more than I do, looks like. And it's true. Her life is like breaking in thousands. As soon as you hear a woman speaking like that about her love life, I don't know what to do. My heart belongs to 3 different men, and I don't know what to do. I don't want to shatter his world with my so language like that alone should be kind of a red flag for you, because these people usually love drama. Remember this tiny episode when she goes to the airplane, and for a second a man appears there. She thinks she's seen him, and in her eyes, she probably already saw their grandchildren somewhere in a little house in Florida or whatever, running on the beach in the sunset, and they're holding hands there looking in the sunset. That's the level of romanticizing in her mind. So she's already, and then his woman comes and she's back to her misery and texting Jasper. So she doesn't even care. Jasper, random stranger from the plane, Jack Black. In this state of mind, she's in love with the idea of love and drama, specifically dramatic love. Quiet, peaceful, everyday love would not satisfy her in this state of mind. It would be a red flag to her. So she is in the sense of drama. So let's talk a bit about Iris and Miles. Here, I don't understand when people call them romantic couple. To me, there is like zero romance between them. So I'm really curious if somebody stayed with me. What is it? More than an hour. If somebody suddenly stayed with me in this thing. Let me know in the comments, do you see them as a romantic couple? Do you think it's a love story? Because to me, never ever, I saw this movie like 10 times, never ever did I notice like any romance between them. To me, they are just saving floaties for each other when somebody's drowning and somebody throws them this floaty and they pick it, so they save each other, and more like friends. That's kind of the way I see it. So first of all, what helps them to break the cycle? It is that they are like mirrors to each other. They are like twins. They're both emotionally deep, sensitive. They're very vulnerable. Especially, it's difficult for Miles. Probably before. Remember, he said like, "Oh, I'm a nice guy. It's always been my problem." For men, it's even more difficult to open, to share your feelings. And remember, he's not with the woman who is like Iris, who will be receptive to that. Remember, he's listening to like Ennio Morricone, and he's like, listen, this is the mouse, the flute, or the strings, I don't remember, the most important part, listen. And she doesn't care, she's on her phone, blah, blah, blah. She couldn't care less what is important to him, what he is like into. She doesn't care, just like Jasper doesn't care about what cute book in the bookstore she found. Yeah, they don't care, because they are the wrong people for them. And suddenly for each other, they found each other, and they, by accident, find a person who can genuinely listen to them. Not like that colleague at work, telling her what to do, not giving advice, not like a therapist, but just listen and just be there. So when they are just remember discussing it, they are just there for each other, and they're just confirming, like, yes, that's exactly what I feel. Like, yes, I understand. That's all that's needed. Nobody needs your logic. Nobody needs your explanation. Nobody needs your advice. That's what they need. They need to be heard and acknowledged. Like, yes, I hear you. I'm here for you. I feel what you feel. So just give space. And they do it to each other. They give space for each other's feelings. I don't see any love there. I don't see any romance. And just practically speaking, I don't see any chemistry between Kate Winslet and Jack Black. I adore Jack Black. I adore Kate Winslet. But together, I don't see any like physical attraction between them. Zero chemistry I feel there. And I think it's actually kind of intended. They should not be romantic partners. They need each other to help each other out of misery, because they're in literally the same situation. So they work as mirrors for each other. They see each other's kind of situations in one another. You know what I mean? So Iris, as if it's on the screen, she sees how she looks from the outside, how she runs. This Maggie calls and he runs back to her. So she suddenly sees what is going on, and that is what helps her again to understand what she is doing. What else? So with them, I don't see any romance. I think that is completely relationship between two friends. Every single time they interact with each other, there is nothing romantic about them. There is only joking around. How he's no, the Gone with the Wind music, he's laughing. Otherwise, or wait a second, remember even the most romantic moments, like seemingly romantic, when he dedicates the melody to her, and he's like, if you were a melody, I would only be like playing good notes. romantic. And then he instantly turns it into like joking, laughing, like friends would do. Here they're laughing, there's nothing romantic. He accidentally touches her boobie, like laughs it off in the friendly type of way. Here, if they were not on a friendly relations, it is kind of it makes it weird. So he sees his girlfriend outside the glass with another man, going, laughing, but kinda at the same time, what are you doing, sir? Your girlfriend is out of town working on some indie movie or whatever she's doing. Why are you hanging out with a single beautiful woman who's going through a breakout? You buy her coffees, she's packing some leftovers for you late at night alone in her house. You are singing Gone with the Wind songs for her, sharing some frappuccinos. What is going on? So he runs to blame her outside of the window. Like, what is going on? You liar, you cheater. At the same time, he's literally walking around having fun with another woman. So that's why I'm saying there is nothing romantic here, because he's hanging out with her as a friend. Yeah, they are friends. And I think up until the very end, they stay friends who lift each other out of misery, even though he does fly to Britain, which is wonderful. Probably him being there will help her stay on the green battery level. Yeah. So I think there is zero, even though they do some kiss, even the kiss is kind of more like on a friendly. Again, if you disagree, please let me know. I sense zero sexuality type of love relations, nothing like that. To me, these two are just friends who found each other in the, I don't know, dire need, and they helped each other. But after that, I hope they will find the right person for themselves. Even more important than Miles, I think, is this relationship, Iris and Arthur, the Hollywood man. Why it is so important? Because he does become, for the very first time, the reliable adult, the adult who just doesn't need anything from her. And remember, she instantly starts helping him. She kind of opens the door and everything. But not a single time did he say something like Jasper is saying, I need you. Yeah, I'll die without you. Remember, if Jasper is calling her, like, oh, what would I do without you? I need you. Like, I am done without you if you don't help me. She is helping him nonstop in every possible way, physically helping, like mentally entertaining him, lifting him out of his misery after he lost his wife. She gets this appreciation for kind of not for her actions, for the first time probably in her life. Somebody appreciates her for just being her. Not a single time did he say some over the top roof, thank you for helping me, I was so miserable and you helped me. No, it's actually the opposite. He is genuinely asking her, like, why is such a beautiful woman on her vacation wasting her time on the man like me? Like, what is your problem? Like, why are you here? So I think this alone shows her that, wow, somebody appreciates me just for who I am, not for the actions, not for the serving that I'm providing. And to her already, it's like collapsing her worldview, like the first crack in her worldview sphere. So yeah, he basically shows her the way, shows her of how a healthy relationship looks. Yeah, how the person respects you, yeah, sees your dignity, sees you as a person without you actually doing stuff. You don't need your value to be affirmed. Yeah, you are valuable just for who you are. And for people like Iris, remember, this is one of the number one life necessities: to be appreciated, to be loved unconditionally, not for something you do, but for who you are, just for being there. And another interesting thing for him, one second, let me, yeah. So she technically does help him. But again, at the same time, she helps herself through this. Yeah, she helps herself. She's charging her battery. Every single scene when they're together, her smile is like, because again, for people like Iris, these interactions are so important. They are so important. On top of that, he accidentally exposes her to the filmotherapy. Filmotherapy is when you kind of do self-psychotherapy through movies. Remember, he finds the whole collection, like dozens of movies with strong female characters, with women who take action, who take responsibilities, who are not victims. So just watching those movies together with being in a new environment, to being around people finally, not in some dark, lonely, isolated house in Britain, seeing the sun, just being around, her battery goes up, 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 up. And that's why she has strength to break up with Jasper and step out of her miserable situation. And also, another important thing, I think for the very first time, she sees the example of a genuinely decent man. I have another speculation. I mentioned this kind of alcoholic father scenario. Another situation for women like this, in childhood, maybe her dad cheated on her mom, and then they divorced, and she maybe loved her father very much, but she knows about this situation. So in her mind, she gets the idea that all men cheat. People cheat, despite how happy they are, despite how I don't know, wonderful people they are, they cheat. Everybody cheats. And then growing up, she will unconsciously look for confirmations. She will watch movies where people are cheating on each other. She will hear some celebrity stories, and hundreds of different stories will pass. Like, these are happy, these had another child, blah, 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 doesn't matter. This one cheated on Beyonce, and this one, even women like Beyonce, even the most gorgeous women are cheated on. So what chances do I have? It's normal. That's why, unfortunately, through these little daily confirmations, again, and again, it's like a snowball, and then it's like a cement. It's very hard to break through this pattern. So that's why she's willing to tolerate this. So yes, he cheated on me, but everybody does. So kind of what's the difference? It's going to happen sooner or later anyway. There is no other way. And maybe for the first time, suddenly, again, by accident, she's exposed to a man who has zero romantic interest in her. He's much older, so he's like this kind grandpa, father figure for her. And just listening to him saying that, like, I am the one-woman man. So he said that I married very early. I loved my wife the entire time, never cheated on her, blah, blah, blah. So even listening to this from a man who has no reason to lie to her, like, why would he make it up? So even listening to stuff like that from the man who is so old, that what adds to it. Because if somebody being like 40, 45 told her that I haven't cheated on my wife, she would probably think, oh, maybe in 10 years he's going to cheat anyway. There is no way. But he's 90. He's 90. His wife already passed away. So even hearing this story is already incredibly healing for Iris, who probably had this thought for life. Like, for lifetime, she had a thought that everybody cheats. Again, that's my speculation. So now, through hearing what he says and through looking at him, and he's not some, again, lonely, miserable man. He's a successful, amazing man who has her respect for his achievements, and at the same time, he had a wonderful, happy, loving relationships, and all his friends confirm it, blah, blah, blah. So you know what I mean. So suddenly, something that seemed impossible, she got the confirmation, and the new neuropath was formed in her brain, like, boom, it's possible. So why would I tolerate this Jasper? So I think for her, this is what mattered. So again, how to get out of the state of misery, like we had Iris in the beginning. First of all, daily charging your battery. And again, connection with people, call your friends, try to figure out like who is on the same page with you, because again, not everybody knows. So let your friends know, like, can you please text me once a day? It's important to me. Explain. It's not obvious to other people. I'm telling you, I'm not like that. I wouldn't remember texting my friends. If they don't text me, it genuinely just it doesn't come up to my mind. So explain to people that it's important to you. Yeah, if you have a husband who is not doing it, explain to him why it's important. Not through nagging, but genuinely explain it, like it charges my battery when you do that. Small things. They literally take zero effort, but unfortunately a lot of people just don't know they should be doing it. Specifically, space around you. Extremely important for this kind of people to have a cozy space, decor, beautiful scents in the air. So if you are living in the cluttered space where you're constantly like bumping into stuff, constantly something in the way, or some loud noises, or some bad smell, get rid of it. For people like Iris, if you are like that, extremely important to have a cozy, pleasant environment. Again, sensory things, massages. Make sure you find this in your routine, find time. Because again, if you let your battery go down to zero, that's when all the Jaspers, all the whatever, whoever, they like vultures. They feel when women like this and men like this are at their lowest point, that's when they will come and take what do you call it? Take advantage of you. So being on the highest charge and level is your responsibility. Nobody else can do it for you. So this is the goal number one. On a daily basis, maybe even print out a little habit tracker and mark how many times during the day you fulfilled your necessities of like sensual stuff, of communication, being around people. And don't push your services on the loved ones, especially if they are not of your kind of person, if they are more on the logical side. Sometimes it feels almost like violence when you're overly taking care of people and then you complain, like, I do this and this for this family, nobody appreciates, nobody wants any, nobody does anything for me. Again, put your attention to somewhere else. Maybe join some charity, go to some Sunday church organizational stuff, like hand out some food, because helping people, serving people, being in people, like feeling gratitude is what charges the battery. But pushing it on people is draining battery. Remember, she was taking care of that Jasper and it was draining battery. So try to find something somewhere where you can implement it, but it should be with right people who do appreciate it. Yeah, that's what will charge the battery. So again, make sure on a daily basis, check mark, I did this, this, and this. The goal is to sustain the good level of energy. Otherwise, you will fall into the misery. And psychologically, relying on reality. Remember, again, not thinking for another person. Oh, he must be trapped, he must be confused, he probably is thinking this and that. No more. No. Reality check. Again, write things down. What is he doing? What in the past 3 months has he done for me? Said this phrase, chuk chuk. He said I'm beautiful. Okay, write down. And if in 3 months you see rationally that it's BS, time to reconsider. Unfortunately, people like that, they think over it. Yes, he says something and they make the whole snowball around this action, thinking his motivation behind it, it might not even be there. So if you make a dry list of actions, not words, not promises, he might say, like Jasper did, like, oh, I did buy a present, where is the present? No present. Write down things the way they are. So even that small exercise, reading through this list of actions and actual stuff that happened, even that sometimes it's very eye-opening for people like Iris. Psychotherapy, obviously. In the movie, she does mention that she's been going to therapist for 3 years, and only the words of this wonderful Arthur, when he says, like, there are leading ladies and best friends, and you're a leading lady. Why are you acting like a best friend character? So even stuff like that can click. So online videos, online courses, self-help books, they all help. Go into therapy helps, but unfortunately it's so expensive in the United States, not everybody can afford it. So maybe online self-help courses, meditation, self-help books would be another way. Internal caring adult figure, again, somebody who is loving you, who's taking care of you, because again, remember, people like Iris, their parent, internal caring figure, is outside for everybody else, anyone but her. Remember, she will take care of anyone else, yeah, not herself. And herself, she's always criticizing. I am terrible, I did this wrong, I'm not good enough. So replacing this internal critic with a caring part of you, again, usually through therapy. And communication. The problem for a lot of people is actually the easiest one of them to fix. Learn to communicate your boundaries. Sometimes just saying one phrase would already be enough, but you need to learn how to communicate. Even if you just practice at home, put a mirror in front of you and set a timer and talk for 10 minutes what you don't like, how you're not allowed to be treated, what's not going to be working with you. So, and just talk to yourself at least. Even that already helps to just get, because for these people, they would help. Remember in the beginning of the movie, she says, I have like, can't even swallow. So their body is reacting. Yeah, when they need to say, they physically can't. They're all, in tension. So these small steps, battery charging, therapy. I'm saying small steps. It's actually huge steps. That's why this movie is basically fairy tale. In 2 weeks, no way this stuff could happen. But you see what can. Surround, I'm sorry, gosh, that's the sign to stop. Surround yourself with happy stories where men don't cheat, where men treat women well. They do exist. You're probably just having the eye goggles that don't let you see outside them. Surround yourself with people, and take care of yourself. Keep your battery charged. Yeah, so no Jasper can come and ruin your life when you are in your highest. That's it for today. Let me, what is going on with my slides? So, I will be doing part 2 of this video, and we will talk about Amanda and Iris's brother, Jude Law's character. I think his name is Graham. So that one is pretty interesting. That's it. Thank you so much, and see you next time. Leave your opinions in the comments. I'm very curious what you think. Bye-bye.